right? But you said that Joe Lacob is the greatest owner in sports history.
Right now. I feel like he is. Maybe not in all time of history. We can have that.
That's what you said. That's what I was like. Okay, well, you said he's the greatest owner ever.
I think he's up there.
He's the best owner right now in sports?
I think so. Let's look at Eddie D, for example. Let's just compare and contrast.
So when I think of owners, I look at owners, and we'll get the Eddie D in just a second. But we look at owners today. In the NBA, is Joe Lacob the best owner in the NBA right now? Probably. Better than Mickey Harrison. Mickey Harrison is not out there like that, like Joe Lacob, right? Joe Lacob, probably the top owner in the NBA now. I
will give the Miami Heat this. They never are bad for a prolonged period of time. They have really, without the star power of what the Warriors have had the last couple of years, I'm very impressed by their organization, and they're low-key compared to the Warriors, but they're great. In the NBA circles, they're very respected.
Mark Cuban, I thought, had a chance. His teams, look, he couldn't get a free agent for a long time. Long time. Couldn't get a free agent. So I would give Joe Lacob as the best owner in the NBA.
He's also had some issues when it comes to inside the front office.
Yeah. We're not
I know. I don't want to get into that, but there's been some stuff.
Exactly. So
there's been some stuff.
So Ballmer hasn't won anything yet.
I do think he's on the right track.
The Buss family, Dr. Jerry Buss, has passed away. He went to 16 NBA finals in 33 years.
They feel very mom and pops.
They are. Ryan Windhorst said that.
Yeah, very mom and pops.
They've been surpassed by the LA Clippers. Clippers are building a stadium, as Windhorst said yesterday. Yeah. If you missed Brian Windhorst's interview, a lot of people at Chase Center yesterday, I was stuck. My guy Dominic, who works in sales at the Warriors, a lot of people are like, we love the Windhorst interview. A lot of people at Chase Center, they were really happy about that interview. 20 minutes. They actually looked at Windhorst and said, you know what? He's not a bad guy after all.
And if you missed it, you can go on YouTube. The full interview is there. Search 95.7 The Game.
There you go. Or the Odyssey app. So Windhorst is really good talking about the LA Lakers. But we look at sports, and I look at Kraft in the NFL. I think he's a really good owner with the Patriots.
Gillette Stadium.
No doubt.
Okay, and has presided over the greatest run, even better than the Niners run.
Like the football. Warriors. Think about the Warriors before Lacob. Laughing stock. Afterthought. The Patriots growing up were nobody until the Crafts bought them.
They did go to a Super Bowl in '85.
They did.
Okay,
in 85.
I'm just saying. I know.
They went to one Super Bowl and got smoked.
I know.
And got smoked.
Well, and they went to the other one that Brett Favre ended up winning with Desmond Howard.
Under Kraft, right?
Yeah, that was, I think, his first year.
Yep.
And they had the old stadium that was...
Old Foxborough Stadium.
Yes, thank you.
But the Patriots were, whatever.
No, he's been amazing.
He's been amazing.
He's been amazing.
He flipped, and they're now one of the more iconic franchises in all of sports.
No doubt.
Robert Kraft. I'm not giving Jerry Jones no love because Jerry Jones has done nothing since the 90s without Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, but as a businessman, he deserves recognition.
Winning. You got to win, Shaq.
Well, it's not, to me,
you got to win.
Just give me a second. Winning is a key component, but there are other factors that can elevate or keep you lower. And we'll get to Jerry and Eddie D in a second, but... Yeah. It's not just winning, but that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It's a big deal.
Jerry Jones done nothing without Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Nothing. Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, playoff failures after playoff failures. And we heard about what happened at the owners meeting yesterday where he's going at Robert Kraft. And Kraft is like, what? Excuse me? Stand down, homie. Stand down. Jerry Jones should have to stand down to Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft has been more impactful in the NFL in the last 20 years, in my opinion, than Jerry Jones. Now, I know you could look at the business stuff and all that. But Kraft has Lombardis.
Oh.
Jerry doesn't.
Yeah, but since
the 90s. So we look at Robert Kraft, right? Who else would be in the NFL in that conversation?
In the NFL in that conversation? Oh, man.
Like, I think Arthur Blank is a good owner, but he hasn't won anything in Atlanta.
When people are going to go to the Steelers and that family.
The Rooneys.
Yeah.
The Hunts. Kansas City.
I think the Maras have been pretty darn good for a long time. New York,
that's a good call.
Even though they've been kind of inept as of late, but they have got Super Bowl wins.
They've got 4 Lombardis.
Yeah.
And they've got a slew of NFL championships.
But I look at Major League Baseball, and I do have to say that, you look at like the Ricketts. I believe the Ricketts are the ones.
Oh, in Chicago.
Yeah.
The Cubs.
They've done some pretty good things.
They have. And they rebuilt Wrigley, even though Wrigley looks nice. So Wrigley, we got to go to Wrigley next year. You and I, you got to go to Wrigley. You're a big baseball guy. You have to see Wrigley.
And I will look at the San Francisco Giants, and I would say they have a place somewhere in here. I don't know where, but I do think that they're in the mix.
So it's funny you bring up the Giants because I ran into Larry Bear yesterday at the Chase Center Club, JP Morgan Club. and Larry Bear was discussing alongside Steve Kerr, Mrs. Kerr. Shout out to Mrs. Kerr.
Oh, nice.
She's awesome. She listens to 95.7 The Game a lot. And so
Hi,
they were
Mrs.
talking.
Kerr.
Yeah, say hello to Mrs. Kerr. First name. What's her first? I need to get her first name. I forget her first name, and I just knew it. You know I'm terrible with names. But the Giants have done a good job. Waterfront Ballpark.
Come on.
Peter McGowan, Larry Bear, they saved
3
the Giants.
championships.
Kept them in San Francisco.
Top 15 in payroll the entire time.
Attendance, they had a down year in attendance this year, and it's 2.4 million.
Yeah, they're still 15th in the league.
So that's cool.
In the most lockdown part of the country where people are still a little reluctant to go out.
But there is a conversation that Joe Lacob is the best owner in all of sports today. All time, I'm not going to go there yet. When it's all said and done, he could be, but I'm not going to go there right now. But just in terms of the present day, it's hard to argue that Joe Lacob isn't one of the five best owners in all of sports.
So let's compare him to the Giants and the Niners as of right now. So like when Peter McGowan and Larry Bear, and I know it's a larger ownership group, they're kind of more the faces. When they took over the Giants were going to go to Toronto in 77. They were going to go to Santa Clara in the mid-80s. They were going to go to St. Petersburg, Florida in the 90s. They had one foot out the door. And the Safeway money came in, and that's where Peter McGowan and Larry Bear, they got a ton of people to invest locally, and they built one of the crown jewels of Major League Baseball and a downtown ballpark. Really kind of them in Baltimore revitalized the let's build a stadium in downtown of a major thoroughfare city, and let's make it the heartbeat of the organization. And they are embedded in the community unlike any other.
Doubt.
They clearly invested in Barry Bonds and free agents, and they brought in one of the greatest winning runs of 25 years that this organization's ever seen.
Larry was telling me how they hired Dusty Baker in Peter McGowan's living room.
It's incredible.
It's incredible, right?
It really
Dusty
is.
Baker. And he was talking about Dusty Baker, right? He was like, man, he should be in the Hall of Fame. And I didn't realize, like, not only did we read the Reds to the playoffs, the Giants to the playoffs, the Cubs to the playoffs, I forgot about the Nats.
Yeah, you don't remember?
I do remember now because when they lost to the Cubs, they should have won that game. And I remember Bryce Harper was just like, tone deaf on, like, he didn't give Dusty Baker a vote of confidence whatsoever.
No.
And I was like, that's shady.
Yeah.
And now he's got the Astros.
I know.
And they got the Astros to the World Series. And I'm pulling, like, I want Dusty to win a ring so bad as a manager. So bad. It's tough to look at Philadelphia and not root for them and not root for the Padres.
Screw Philly.
Yeah, I know. Bob Melvin and the Padres, you want to root for them. And they had a chance to win it in the ninth inning. By the way, the Schwarber bomb, oh my God. 488 feet, that was a bomb. But the Giants have done a great job.
Great job. And, they really have embodied the civic and private partnership between a community and a private entity and what could be and revitalizing an entire neighborhood.
Yep, no doubt.
Would you agree?
No doubt.
And then obviously they've had the success of the 3 championships, but they've been to the playoffs. And I know that it's expanded in the last couple of years, at least the last 20 with the advent of the wild card and whatnot.
I want to say Kerr's wife name, her first name is Margot. I want to get that right. I think it's Margot, Margot. So Margot. I just want to, Mrs. Kerr, I want to give her respect and call her on a first name basis. I think it's disrespectful when we don't do that, but she was very, very sweet yesterday and very, very kind. But the Giants have done a good job. Think about the Lacobs now. We had them on the show yesterday, and I know you watched this. In just under 10 years, a 10-year anniversary of the Lacobs owning the Golden State Warriors, and now, along with Peter Guber, they've generated over $30 million when it comes to grants and loans for the community, for underprivileged kids. $30 million, and it's something that he's really proud about.
Well, he should be. I mean, he should absolutely be proud about it. Yeah. And look, I will give the Giants this, and I'm a direct benefactor of the Giants Community Fund because I do stuff with the Junior Giants. They literally do stuff for thousands and thousands of kids throughout the entire community, and I'm sure the Niners do awesome things as well that aren't as highlighted. I'm glad and I'm happy and I'm thankful as a member of this community that those things happen. Right. I think people dismiss those things. There's a lot of hard work and energy and money that gets thrown, and there's a lot of people that are working on the ground level that is helping, and kids in our community. So those things are very important, and the Warriors have done those things. I look at Eddie D, right? The times were so different, but they kind of inherited Candlestick, right, in 77 and 78 when he took over, but they inherited one of the worst franchises in sports.
Yep.
And that's what they were. The Niners were a loser. They had acquired O.J. Simpson because they were not selling tickets, and they gave up 2 first-round picks for him. He was completely washed.
And he saw the Joe Montana doc on Peacock where OJ was just going through the motions.
He was done.
He was going through the motions.
And so, like, you look at what the Niners were at that time, they were a small thought afterwards when it comes to the sports scene here. The Giants were the dominant team in terms of in the city, and the Niners are like, who cares? And also the city was going through so much turmoil with the assassinations and stuff at City Hall.
And that's, they won 5 championships in basically 14 years. But the one knock on Eddie D was he was quick to try to fire coaches. He almost damn near fired Bill Walsh a million times, right? They're there all the time. Took away the control in 87. And then you think about what happened with Seifert and then Mooch, and then boom, he's out.
But the one thing that I think that he would say was the INC, the incomplete on his resume, and it's because of the Louisiana boat thing where he got in trouble trying to bribe a state official. He didn't get the stadium passed. We gave them the city of San Francisco.
The vote passed.
Yeah, because
they didn't build the stadium.
Exactly. We gave them $100 million, which is 98. $100 million. Santa Clara, 12 years later, gave them $100 million.
They had the stadium ready to go.
Yeah, it was going to be in Hunters Point. It was going to be kind of where the current site is.
Strip mall, movie theater, jobs, all the stuff.
Prop G, Prop F. Yep. But he didn't get it done. Right? He didn't get it done. And so I'll give the Yorks this. They picked up the ball and they had to completely reset everything at a time where it's really difficult to build. And they did find a way to stay in the Bay Area. They deserve credit there. Now, we can argue about the location, the design, all of those things. I look at what the Warriors have done with private money to be able to buy that land and build in San Francisco before the pandemic when it was, again, do you know how hard it is to get a permit to build a 6-foot fence in your backyard? These guys built a $2 billion palace on the water.
And give Goober credit, too. I know people are saying, how come Peter Goober doesn't get flowers? He does get flowers. He's helped. He's part of the Dodgers ownership group. The Dodgers have been really, really good. And, of course, the Golden State Warriors. And Goober was alongside Joe Lacob yesterday. They are the front guys for the Golden State Warriors. And they get a lot of credit for what they've done with the community, because the Warriors have always been ahead of the curve when it comes to the community stuff. Alongside Chris Mullin, Spreewell, back in the day with Hardaway and Mitch Richmond, they've always been great in the community. But the Lakers have also done a great job alongside Steph Curry and company, and to build that stadium or that arena right there in downtown San Francisco with Thrive City, to build it and put their money where their mouth is, and then pay all the taxes.
So that's the key point for me.
The luxury tax thing. And everybody's we always go back and forth. I call you Mr. Charles Schwab when it comes to the finances.
But the money has to make sense.
I don't like to count. I don't like to go into their pockets, though. Like owners, you can't cry broke. You can't say, hey, I'm cheap. Sell the team then.
No, but
that's how fans think.
I know, but there's also a reality of you got to pay the bills, right?
You have to pay the bills.
I look at
you can't penny pinch. Not in this market.
No, but part of why the Giants were not reluctant, but just a little trying to be more discerning in free agency for 20 years, they had a big mortgage bill to pay off that stadium. Mm-hmm. That was part of their narratives.
You have to give the Hall of Famer Rick Welts his credit, too. Thanks, San Jose Jazz fan. Rick Welts does deserve flowers for the stadium as well.
But I look at their tax bill and what they're doing and reinvesting it back into the team, and then listening to Joe Lacob with you yesterday. Look, man. We could argue about who you personally like the most as a person. We can argue about a lot of things. You cannot deny this dude is maniacally obsessed with competing at everything.
Winning. He wants to win.
It's not just winning.
He wants to win.
He wants to have the best stadium. He wants to have the best facilities. He wants the experience in the stadium to be the best it possibly can be. He wants everything to be top notch. Did you see the rings? They slide open and show you how many titles you have.
It's pretty sick.
Everything they do is so thought out. It's just incredible.
And so I ran into a former CEO of the 49ers, Peter Harris, unfortunately at a funeral. And I want to shout out the Payne family, Matt, Andrew, and Rosalind. I love you guys. I'm thinking about you every single day. You guys know if you need something, as well as Big Dog City, because Lyle Payne was a father to Big Dog City. Great people. I love the Payne family. But I ran into Peter Harris at the funeral, and he knows the Lacobs. And Peter Harris brought up, he goes, look, man, my kids grew up with the Lacob kids, Kirk. And he's like, Joe Lacob at these games for his kids wanted to win so bad. He goes, he is probably the most competitive person I've ever met. And when you hear Joe Lacob, when he hit the podium before the finals last year, how many owners you see? Well, Jerry Jones does it every game where he's going to talk to the media, which is a joke. Jerry Jones sit in the box. I don't need to hear from you about the Dallas Cowboys, whether or not they won or lost. I don't need to hear from you, but it's cool to have him talk to people. I wish Jed York would be a little more open. I want to talk to Jed York a little bit more.
He walked through the crowd yesterday at Thrive City, Joe Lacob did, with Raymond Ritter.
No security.
With no security.
I said that to Bully.
I couldn't believe it.
I said that to Bully. I was like, bro, he has no security. And he's high-fiving people. He's waving.
I couldn't believe it.
Jay Lacob keeps quoting Jerry Buss. He goes, he went to 16 finals in 33 years. That is a standard for me. And I remember Game 6, and you watch it all the time.
Such an unreasonable standard.
Unbelievable. And when we had Lacob on last year on the parquet floor, and he had to have it, I was like, man, you're like the modern day Eddie DeBartolo. I've said this from day one, like he's the modern day Eddie D with his cockiness and arrogance. But I love that. I love that in my owners. And he goes, how many championships Eddie D have? And I know, Joe, you know how many he had. I was like, he has 5. He goes, it's interesting. He knows. He knows how many championships Eddie D has, and he has a chance to match him as an owner. So you got to give him his flowers.
Do you ever think about what I think about a lot? I think about this a lot, and I know it's weird. I think about how sad I was when Larry Ellison didn't get the team and how wrong I was. I think about that constantly.
You weren't the only one.
I thought money was going to solve everything in terms of like Larry Ellison's money. I thought that, you just wanted the gazillionaire owner who could buy everything and fix everything. And I remember being like, what? Some minority owner from the Celtics?
Yeah.
It's an ownership group?
Yep.
What? I mean, I could not have been more wrong.
No, we're all wrong. Hey, look, on the text line, the Xfinity Mobile text line, we'll get to 2 calls before we flex.
He's been incredible.
Stan Kroenke, Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah, Stan Kroenke deserves. Yes, how did we omit him? I think his stadium, of all the football stadiums I do, that's the best one I've ever been to.
SoFi Stadium's.
It's ridiculous.
SoFi Stadium's the best stadium.
It's ridiculous.
Out there.
So good the Chargers pay to play there.
Yeah, I know. And you see how it pops differently for the Rams and the Chargers? Monday Night Football, I was noticing that.
It's called the
Monday Night
crowd.
Football. Yeah. All the orange, and there was a lot of empty seats there. Just didn't feel the same.